Chris stole my headphones. It'll still be the highlight of my career.
I'll talk about drug use as well. He was out cold straight away. I've never smoked meth.
Personal shout out to Amir.
Now he does smoke meth.
Ladies and gentlemen, I can't believe we're actually fucking here. We have made it. Guys, in classic 128 fashion, we're dealing with bullshit. God damn it. Let me undeafen. Boys, ladies and gentlemen, everybody in the chat, welcome to the pod. As you've seen from the title, yes, we have the king himself, Jungle Jim, in the chat. Everything was working again, literally until we dragged into the pod room to start the video. Everything died. You guys missed out on the pre-show. If you weren't in the pre-show, shameless plug, join the Discord. While Kieran deals with this, how are you, brother?
I'm great, man. It's always good on pod day.
It is.
How about you?
I'm blessed, brother. It's now week 16. We're pushing, and bro, like, for everyone who was in the pre-show, fucking even people like Jimmy are gonna sit down and watch, bro. So yeah, we're doing God's work, man. I'm very happy with everything.
Yeah, Jimmy's just in smokers having a dart.
Yeah, right.
We've only been trying 16 episodes.
Bro, it's insane. And that's what I'm pretty sure it was episode 1. I made the joke, like, if we get Jungle Jim on an episode, I will happily retire. And fucking all day yesterday and all day today, it's just like, I can't believe this is happening. This is really, it's come to fruition. But then Discord goes and fucks around and ruins everything. Even his camera was working fine fucking 10 minutes ago. We usually go through the fucking everyone in chat. I want to shout out the first time chatters, everyone who's come back and all our mods. Fucking Gabe, it's good to see you, bro.
Sunny Jack, up to, brother?
We have just been flat out with the editing and stuff. For those who don't know, we have a social media marketing manager, I guess you'd say. Shout out Jono. And we have been really slack on sorting our shit out lately. So all of our clips and all the stuff we usually post just hasn't been working lately. Don't know why it's just not popping or hitting as hard as when Jono does it, but we miss you, Jono.
We're trying.
We'll see you soon. But bro, we've been pushing these pods. Like, I know the viewership hasn't, like, the community that it's created. I think everyone's loving it, bro. He's fixed.
Hello.
Oh,
There
my God. Fucking hate this platform. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't believe we are here. That in classic fucking 128 fashion, there's always mess ups at the start. Blah, 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 blah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the pod. Jimmy, it's a pleasure to have you in here, brother. Thank you for taking time out of your Wednesday to come on and chat shit with us.
No worries. Thank you for having me, lads.
Nah, absolutely.
Anytime.
For those who don't know, in chat, I'll give you the quick rundown. 56, as of recording, 56.6k followers on SoundCloud, millions upon millions of streams across all the platforms. First upload on SoundCloud was over 15 years ago. This man has been a pioneer in what people now call Melbourne bounce. Jungle Jim, it's a pleasure to have you, bro.
Thank you. Very flattering, mate. Very flattering.
Look, we have gone over it a couple of times. We were just mentioning Jono. You did a Jono shout with him, not too recently, but recently, after your retirement. So we want to kind of steer clear of all the generic questions, the who you are and blah, 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 all that stuff has already been said. And if anyone wants that information, go watch Jono's video. We love Jono and he deserves all the shout outs and stuff. But there was a couple of little things in there that I wanted to touch on. Ultimately, your name to start off with. So for those who don't know, there's a couple of stories. There's rumors and stuff of where you got your name. You've iconically said there's two. There's a real reason and there's the reason you tell everyone. Do you want to tell everyone the story?
So the real reason I chose the name Jungle Jim is just going out very early on to Q-Bar, which was on Chapel Street. Hasn't existed for years now. But going out there with a mate who was from Trinity, so a school nearby, and we ended up hanging out and becoming friends. And his nickname was Jungle, and so I thought it was a cool fucking name. I'm like, never knew his first name. He just called himself Jungle. I'm like, that's a fucking cool name, man. So when I was trying to find a DJ name, I'm like, Jungle Jim. Jungle sounds cheeky, sounds cool, whatever. So that's the actual reason. It was like, okay, my mate's got a cool fucking name. I'll use that. But then, which the reason that I tell people afterwards, which is a real memory, is my first memory. Because at a stage where I was young, we lived in Malaysia for a couple of years because my dad was there. And my first memory is being on Dad's shoulders because he's like an ex-army kind of guy, so pretty like adventurous, whatever. So we'd go hiking and that kind of stuff, even when I was like 3 years old or whatever, and I'd just be on Dad's shoulders. And that's my first memory, is being on Dad's shoulders while he's like chopping his way through the jungle with like a panga. So that's generally my first memory. So that's not the reason I call myself Jungle Jim, but in the end, that sounded a whole lot better than just stealing a name from my mate.
Which I
Turned out to be iconic.
Yeah, that was the blow. I think a lot of people were really stunned to find out that you were raised in Malaysia. How long was that?
So I was born in the UK, lived in Malaysia. I lived in the UK for 10 months. Then it was Malaysia pretty much from then on. I think there was a short stint in Australia before that, but Malaysia from maybe 1 till 4 or something like that. So 3 or 4 years that we were there, and then Australia for the rest.
Yeah.
But yeah, very, very young. So I think I went to like preschool in Malaysia for a year or something like that. But yeah, from like 5 onwards, grew up in Australia.
Yeah. And then, I mean, again, you spoke about it a lot on Jono's episode that you know, your normal growing up, normal childhood with the, you know, going out and playing. You were living in like the Glen Waverley area, like the 16, 17. So you were influenced by like the southeast sort of scenario. When was it that you started to find music? Was it around that time?
Yeah, I reckon I mentioned Cuba before. I reckon specifically like Melbourne underground kind of music would have been going out to Cuba very 18, 19, and it would be literally me and one mate would go there completely sober. I'll talk about drug use as well. If that's all right. But like we literally go there completely sober.
Melbourne, bro.
We'd take one pinger. We'd have one pinger each, and we'd be fucked for 5 hours straight. And all we'd pay is entry and one pinger. So entry was $15, I reckon. Pingers were $25. You spend 40 nights, $40, and you'd be fucked for the whole night.
Yeah.
But I remember going there, getting kicked back for the first couple of times, but once we got in, and we'd go every week listening to music then, and it being like Books would play there a lot, Spacey Space, guys like Stevie Mink. So I guess very early on, people credit people like Books with being like a very early on starter of Melbourne underground music. But it didn't, even at that stage, it wasn't really defined at all. So it was very early on. It wasn't like, say, TFU maybe at the same time, which was more specifically like Melbourne underground minimal stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, Q-Bar for sure. My very first, very early memories clubbing was all Cuba, all Cuba. Um, yeah. So that's how it started. Literally, me and a mate being little gremlins in the corner of a club, and meeting a bunch of people through that. But yeah, that pretty much kicked
What
things off.
what year was that, if you remember?
2009. I
9.
finished school 2007.
Yeah.
I would have been about 2009.
So the first upload on your SoundCloud was Bring the Noise, the Public Enemy remix. That was 15 years ago, so 2011. So it was about 2 years ish after you started like your frequent
Yeah.
cooking it in the corner before you started releasing music.
Yeah.
Was that just because you were going out and being like, I want to do that, or was music already something that was sort of in you?
Certainly earlier than that. I mean, what I listened to when I was growing up was more hip hop stuff.
Okay.
So I guess some of that did get influenced in the music I made after that. Um, some like electronic music as well, but it was mostly hip hop growing up because I idolized my two older brothers, and the middle brother just smashed hip hop the whole time. So that would have been my major influencing uh, genre of music before that. But I think the 2 year gap in between starting clubbing and releasing music, I was making music that whole time, but it was just horrendous. So there was no way I was putting it up. I never asked anybody for advice. I never like spoke to any DJs or anything like that. Like I didn't have the like, courage to. I wasn't social enough to do that kind of stuff. So it was like me using the the inbuilt plugins in Fruity Loops to put sounds together. I never used anything external. In my mind, especially early on, all the effects, I didn't use any effects whatsoever. So no like reverb or compression, nothing, because in my mind, this is how I just knew nothing about it. That was like what DJs used. That was like, DJs used effects like that. You don't use effects when you're producing. That was the level of like knowledge I had.
What was
It
your
was
thought on
nothing.
that? Sure.
So that was
Did you
like a
start
year.
producing or DJing first?
Producing.
Producing.
So it was, yeah, producing 2009 and DJing maybe a year after that, but maybe a little more than a year after that. I think before I was 21, I was DJing.
That's cool. When you said Fruity Loops, yeah?
Yeah.
Was it always Fruity Loops? Did you do change over at any time?
Yeah, to Ableton for most of it. Fruity Loops I downloaded because it was like 80 megabytes, and you could get it. You could pirate it for free, really cheap, well, really easily.
Okay.
So that's why I downloaded Fruity Loops. I mean, I guess it doesn't particularly matter that much. I never thought, but Ableton I thought was a little better. But it was able to 80% of the time that I was making music.
So
Yeah,
the
mental.
last upload you did was the last thing I was gonna say. The last upload, your first one was the Bring the Noise Public Enemy one. The last upload you did, you're welcome to skip the question if you want. The last upload you did with Amir was a story about you getting ScanTek banned. Could you touch on that story a little bit?
Yeah.
That's on his SoundCloud for anyone who wants to go and hear that. It's a dope fucking
Yeah, I actually got
11
told. I got told by a mate, which I probably should have, but I got told by a mate he's just become a lawyer. He's like, mate, you got to get rid of that because the cops are going to use that. Mate. You're admitting guilt. Serious shit. I'm like, oh, right. I just left it up, and in my mind, honestly, I think a lot of people back in the day found very funny. But what I found, and what I experienced with the police when I dealt with them afterwards was, I honestly think they appreciate some level of vigilante justice when they don't have to do because they don't have to do any paperwork. They're just like, yeah. I'll explain the interaction with this guy, but after it happened, I can guarantee you they would have interviewed him or whatever, they would have spoken to him, and he would have treated him like shit. And in the end, they probably were like, it's good that you got belted. We don't have to do any paperwork.
Yeah,
There's kind of
absolutely.
free justice. The problem has been solved.
They
I
can
guarantee
focus
you
on something else, yeah.
cops do think like that. They're like, I couldn't, this from a cop, like, I can't do anything to you, but I'm glad you got belted. I genuinely think 90% of them do think like that.
Well, did that
But
ScanTek ban actually go through?
yeah. So I tried to get into a few places after that, and they were like, "No, you're banned. You're banned." So I think Old Melbourne Jail, I tried to get in for an event. Obviously, I think Tram, I tried to get in, like, no chance, mate. So I don't know how long that lasts. I don't know if it still exists, but I haven't been to any of those places for a long time. So nothing I've been like scanned with ScanTek for. But it happened just outside Tramp, and Caleb was playing. I think he just finished his set, so it was literally Sunday morning. I woke up for the set like 5 in the morning and went in with him. It was just after his set. I went outside the front of Tramp with a mate. To go and get some smokes from 7-Eleven. We were outside the strip club just next to 7-Eleven, just after that, and having a smoke with me and my mate. And the guy comes up. Yeah, he must have been early 20s, something like that. Was a real like kind of station rat kind of kid, and came up to us. Was pretty young, maybe early 20s, but started hassling us and started like pushing my mate. And being like, "Oh man, you know what this fucking is?" And he pulled out a little hammer, and he's like, "You know what this is, man? I'm gonna fucking use this, man. You know what this fucking is?" And we're like, "Holy shit! All right, mate, relax." It's like 6 in the morning, so we calmed him down, gave him a smoke, being like, "Mate, chill out, everything's fine." And he just came to and did it again, and started and just went towards my mate, not me, and pushed him, and then pulled out the hammer again. And go, "I'm gonna fucking use this on you." So I'm like, "Shit, dude." All right. So I'm right next to him, and I hit him with an elbow, and he was out cold straight away. And he felt it was shocking. It was shocking when it happened, because I was like, "Oh shit, did I just do that?" I've never done anything like that. I've been bashed, I've been knocked out before. I've never done that before.
That's the funniest part. Is even Caleb said, like, I just couldn't imagine
It's
you.
so unexpected.
You're the most gentle person in the industry, and
Yeah.
just to hear that you got ScanTech because you elbowed someone doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So I think the thing was, my mate, Josh is like, I think I've got a baby face with Mojo. He's like the most baby faced little creature you've ever met in your life. Like, he's such an innocent little thing. So to see this guy, this like fuck guy, go after him, I was like, a little bit in my mind, I was like, "Mate, I'm good. Don't worry, mate." Yeah. So knocked him out. He fell into like the gutter, and he's like, it was like Family Guy when the people die, like his arms like twisted back. I'm like, "Holy shit." So I'm like, in my mind, which would have made it look worse, in my mind, I'm like, "Oh my God, that's going to look like I just can hit this guy for no reason." So I'm like, "I need to find the hammer." So I go over to him. The guy's half in the gutter, half out of the gutter, just fucking looking lifeless. And I'm like trying to rifle through his box to find this hammer, because I can't find the hammer anywhere. And I never did. So, yeah, I think some guys were outside the strip club there, whatever, came over to me and be like, push me away. I'm like, "Mate, he had a hammer, he had a hammer." So we ended up going back into Tram after that, being like, "Okay, we need to get out of here." I probably should have just left, obviously, but we went back to the Tram. The manager of Tram, as we were leaving, came out. It was like an hour later. Obviously, the cops had come. There were cops everywhere. They came down the entrance. He stopped me and said, "You need to come outside the front right now. The cops need to speak to you." And I was like, "What's this about?" And he's like, "You know what you've done." And I'm like, "Fuck, right, okay, this is bad." I get up there, there's like cops everywhere. And they're saying the same thing. There was no hammer. He's been taken away in an ambulance, which I didn't know. So I didn't know if he was all right. I didn't know what had happened. So the cops spoke to me for a while. They ended up, I didn't have to go back to the station. They said, "We'll question you again." And they said they were going to speak to Josh, my mate who was there. I don't know if they were, they didn't end up going. They contacted him, but he didn't end up going to the station, and it just kind of spread it out. But I guarantee you that's because of the way, I assume that he would have treated them on the way to the ambulance, because he was like a street rat guy. He was never going to press charges. He was never going to like ask the cops for help ever.
Yeah. If people go back and listen to the whole 11-minute, Jimmy goes more in depth with like the type of kid he was and such. And what year was this? Because like, if this was out the front of the 7-Eleven on King Street, it would have been like at 6 a.m. on any day. There's 1,000 people on that road.
It was busy. Yeah, it was busy.
Yeah.
Years ago now.
Yeah, if it was Tramp. Yeah, if it was Tramp. Yeah, you're right. If it was Tramp, it would have been before 2017. So back then, that street was pumping.
Did that situation affect like your DJ career at all? Seeing as you got ScanTech?
No, that was really late. That was really late on. I don't even think I was playing much at all.
Okay.
I don't think I'm
Yeah.
playing at all anymore. I went in to see Caleb play. Yeah, that was right towards the end. So
Which
no,
which I think is really funny. People think you like the last set you ever played. People think that was the last time you ever set foot in Melbourne. Like, yeah, I don't think people understand. Like, you would, the boys asked you to jump on the podcast because they saw you like 3 weeks ago. Like, you're out going and seeing,
yeah,
Yeah.
So like, I don't. Yeah, people
yeah,
people think you hit away, but you never really left
yeah,
fully.
yeah. No, now that I'm thinking about it, the ban must have been lifted because I did play billboards, or maybe they didn't even scan my ID. Maybe that's because they didn't scan my ID. But I did play old school sets at billboards and maybe a couple of other places. But now I'm thinking about maybe they don't, going in there. Maybe it wasn't scanned, but it might well have been lifted after. But yeah.
So the last question I got before I pass it off to these ones, last question I got is you mentioned the Boogs, the Spacey Space, all those type of people that sort of influenced you that you were watching it in the early days. Then, fucking, at least for my generation, you were that influence on a lot of the people my age. When you started to really work your way in the industry, did any of those influences really change much for you, or were you still always like diehard that old electro fan?
No, no, it definitely changed.
Yeah.
With the scene, when the scene started growing, it definitely did. Like it's a whatever cliche to say thing to say, but Will Sparks for sure was an influence on me for my sound, massively for my sound. Um, Guys like Reese Lowe as well, specifically when it started to become what eventually was called bounce. For sure, those guys, definitely. I love that sound. Love it. Matty Lincoln as well. He copped a lot of shit over time, but Matty Lincoln was a massive influence on me. I thought he was amazing. Love it, love it. Melbourne Sound. Melbourne Sound is an amazing. Like the song at the time, like the song. And I got copped a lot of shit, but it was the song. Like
Yeah.
it
Not
understood
wrong.
exactly what the scene was, and it represented the scene perfectly. I thought at the time, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
So people like me for sure, and Will Sparks, Joel Fletcher, the classic guys.
I mean,
Guys,
those
for sure.
boys, well, like, as much as they were your influence, though, they were sort of like your your peers. They were your competition at one stage. Did you ever feel like you were having to push against them, or were you just loving the fact that you were even in the conversation?
I think like my wave was maybe similar, but I think a little bit after them. And I know
After.
it probably sounds not right, but I remember following them when they were big names coming up, even though they're younger. I think they're a number of years younger than me. Um, but no, I don't. I mean, competition. I honestly never felt like they were competition. I felt like what's that cliche? I certainly did dislike other producers, DJs, whatever, but never really. I don't think because they felt like competition because the scene was exploding in general, and they were a part of that. So if anything, they massively helped me. So I never. It's like whatever the cliche term is, rising tide lifts all ships. It
Yeah. Yep.
definitely them exploding like inspired me. It wasn't like shit.
Yeah.
I've got to. You're a competition now. And I honestly never thought of it that way.
Yeah. Because I mean,
The
that's always
community
been
was different
something.
too.
Yeah,
Absolutely. That's always something we touch on is the community was
Everyone
different
backed
back
each
then.
other. Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And I remember a couple of times very early on, like driving Will around, and he would play like 7 gigs a night or whatever. But we'd play at the same places, so oh, I'm like, oh, look at mate who's driving, I'm going to give you a lift. Did it, multiple times. So like, yeah, what it definitely was. For me, it definitely didn't feel like competition
No, I
for
love
sure.
that. I love that because a lot of people, there's a lot of like, we've heard every excuse under the sun as why Melbourne died, but one of the things that comes up repeated in every conversation is that everyone was against each other and all clubs were working against each other. And then when you speak to the artists, the people who are actually influencing the sound that everyone was experiencing. None of that. Everyone was supporting each other. Everyone was loving each other's music. It was, I hope you do better, because it's the rising tides raise all ships. It was never a competition. And I think hearing it from people like yourself, it proves it even stronger that like people were really in this out of the love of music. It had nothing to do with followers or popularity.
Yeah, I do honestly think that there was. I think there was a lot of, and I was definitely a part of this. There was a lot of like snacky kind of shit talking that went on, and I did a lot of it, and I copped a lot of it. I don't. Maybe this is me justifying doing that, but I honestly think that kind of like helped the scene expand, or maybe because those kind of incidents blew up, it kind of meant that the scene was bigger, was bigger and growing. That it meant enough that these kind of beefs would be public enough. I always thought that, yeah, that kind of, even if it was snarky, it's still like any publicity is good publicity. I honestly think it was like a manifestation of the scene being really popular in general. Is the good and the bad, and the shit talking, and then the supporting each other, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't know. So yeah, both sides of things, and I think it all just represented how popular it was becoming.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
This actually does kind of flow into what we're actually talking about anyway. What's the most ridiculous rumor you've heard about yourself in the industry?
Because you were very outspoken.
Yeah, a rumor. Okay, I'll give you a good one.
Here we go.
So, and this was my, you probably wouldn't mind, but I remember hearing from Danny Grant, who was, was the head of Loud Entertainment, who I was booked with, and he did, like, I owe Danny everything. Like, I genuinely owe him everything for what happened. I'm not a promoter. I can't. I'm shocking at it. I'm angry. I beef with people. The worst thing was me having a smartphone, like, yeah, getting drunk and sending regretful shit. That was, yeah. But Danny, I think when we played schoolies a couple of years. I think the first year, and because I was so shy or antisocial, whatever. I had my best mate who was also going up to the schoolies. Wasn't a DJ at all, but was just staying somewhere else away from all, because it was a whole group of DJs that were staying in one house. So I think as a normal DJ, you'd hang out with all the guys and socialize, whatever. But I just struggled with that kind of stuff. So I barely spent any time at all in this DJ house, whatever. I just hung out with my best mate and his mates. And so I remember Danny, Mango, so Andreas Mango, who specifically was my agent, heard from Danny that they thought I was smoking meth, and that's why I was leaving, because I didn't want to be around him, because I wanted to go smoke meth with my friends. I couldn't be further true. So Danny was like, the company I was a part of genuinely thought I was a meth head. And so Mango asked me this as well. He's like, mate, what's going on? Because this is the rumors that are going around. You don't want to hang out with the DJs because you're all fucking smoking meth. I'm just shy, man. I'm just introverted. I just don't know the guys. And I should be. I know. I understand that, but I just might rather hang out with my best mate. So that would have been the rumor that surprised the hell out of me. I've never smoked meth intentionally in my life.
Allegedly.
That's so good.
Bring him back the catchphrase.
Oh, bro, no.
But that was a rumor that I was very surprised. I was very surprised by it, for sure.
That's mental.
Wild.
That's mental.
Because you would
don't
know
have the general questions about Jungle Gym.
Yeah. Yep.
That's a lot of things people don't know.
Yeah. I think.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I think, and also like the fact that you were such a like prolific artist, especially by the time you were doing the schoolies trips, you were like a very well-known artist. For that to go around, that's wild.
Mm.
Even just
Yeah.
I think especially early on, a lot of the guys did smoke meth. Like, I think the drugs were a massive part of the scene, massive part. So I think you'd be surprised by a lot of the big names that did smoke meth, a lot of meth, especially early on, especially very early on. So.
Caleb Amir, I
It is
want to
that
give a
one.
personal shout out to Amir. He's just joined in the chat from fucking Indonesia. Shout out to you, viewing from the
Shout
other
out,
side of the
Caleb.
world, bro.
Now
just-
he does smoke meth.
Biggest fucking method.
Clipped it. Holy shit, bro. He just said, glad to hear you've come clean about your meth addiction. He just said the same about you.
Maybe that's why he's not replying to my messages. He's in Indonesia. I thought he was just smoking meth.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's so funny. Well, that clip is the start of the podcast, isn't it? Oh,
That's hilarious.
All right, that's actually a good one to lead on to. These boys will take this from here because I know they've wanted to speak to. Since we've organised this pod, it's the one thing that keeps coming up, and now Caleb's here. This is the perfect time to join in. While you were here, while you were still in the fucking crux of music, Six Nightclub was created out of you six just talking shit. We had a great conversation with Caleb. I believe it was episode 3 or 4, and he told us the whole story. And then we had Lockie on a couple of episodes later, and he gave us some more background. But fucking at this point, we're going to get all 6 of yous on. But from your point of view, what was the whole creation of that? How did that come about? From your point of view.
I think it was led by Caleb. We started at Railway, and it was with. Oh mate, it's going to be the specifics. Going to be vague on me now, but Norm and another lad. I can't remember. And then us 4, me, Lockie, Vlad, and Caleb.
Yeah.
So we started up. It was busy, super busy to begin with, which I think is, especially with the early on, it's easy enough to get people coming the first nights, but backing it up is always the struggle after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was reasonably late on, but yeah, it didn't quite work out. I think six people running a night is too many people. I think maybe two or 3, sure, if you're all filling in spots that the others need help with, but I think 6 was too many people for sure.
The club, the actual spot you had, Railway, was iconic. Was such a good spot.
Right.
And you had
It went to Sub Club after that, didn't it?
Yeah. The 2 Railway, I think, at least both Railway and things that one of the reasons we struggled was, I think Railway didn't really suit the vibe of the people that went there regularly. It was more psytrance. It was more that style rather than say bounce. And we kind of melded it a little bit in that regard. But anybody coming there because it was Railway was surprised by what Six Nightclub was. So I think we definitely struggled in that regard. I mean, I was never going to do anything but what we did with Six. It was always going to be like Melbourne Underground, minimal bounce kind of stuff. Same with Sub Club. The regulars to Sub Club itself were more like psytrance, that kind of underground stuff.
Right.
You had the whole neon vibe, the artistic paintwork on the walls.
Yeah,
It was that psytrance vibe for sure. It's more like an earthcore vibe.
Well, is that also the reason why you guys also kind of like you and Caleb, primarily like is that the reason why you guys kind of went a little bit minimally sort of vibes?
I think he always was into it more than I am. I've never really been into psytrance. It to me it served a purpose being like a festival music. I always struggled hearing it in clubs. It seemed foreign to me hearing it in clubs. It seemed strange and inappropriate. It always seemed like a festival music to me.
1000%. With the exception of
with the
exception of Nickelodeon, Zach DePetro, who do that like Melbourne-esque like prog side.
Yeah.
Apart from that sort of stuff,
That's why Simul came out, didn't it?
1000%.
Records.
Yeah, 100%.
Psytrance in a club
Put that
sounds
Melbourne spin on it. Made it a bit more easy to listen to.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, so it always, I think early on, going out to festivals and hearing it there, it seemed more appropriate to stay there. That kind of bush doof vibe, going out, dancing
beat
in
me
the
to
fucking.
it.
It always seemed like a more of psytrance stuff, and in a club environment, it seemed strange to me.
Yeah.
But I did make a couple of songs that had kind of psytrance elements in it, but never really that speed.
No.
But I did dip my toe a little bit. Caleb was always more into it, so he did my proper psytrance stuff. But it never, it's too fast for me. It was always, I was never that into it.
Yeah, because you're like one of the first ones to kind of really dabble in that like psytrance bouncy sort of stuff like back in the day as well. Like I think that was like I can't remember what song it was.
Yeah, you're
I don't
gonna
know.
have to do.
There was one like with triplets and stuff like that, and then it goes into like a bounce lead afterwards in the second phrase. I can't remember what song it was, but that's kind of like a psytrancey vibe there. And like I'm going back, and that's like maybe 2015, 2016.
You'd have to show me the song because I don't, not
Yeah.
intentionally. If it sounded like it, it wasn't intentional. To be
Yeah, no, that's
perfectly
okay.
honest.
It's
Because I think I did make kind of a combination of, in my opinion, like kind of cheeky melody, kind of cook stuff, and then heavier bass line, kind of minimally stuff, but where it was more driven by rhythm and bass line rather than any melodies in it.
yeah.
But as far as like intentionally making anything psy-trancey, no, no. But maybe it had those elements unintentionally. I don't know.
What's your favorite song that you've made?
I reckon it's pretty early on, but it was a song that was exactly the style of music I wanted to make, and that was Carousel, for sure. It was that cheeky, cooked, bouncy melody. I could see myself when I was first going out, like listening to that in the corner of a club and enjoying that. So Carousel, for sure. I reckon, as far as like a breakdown melody, Jimmy Trumpet was probably the best sounding melody I've made, but the drop wasn't what it should have been. Looking back on it now, I would have done things differently. But maybe those two tracks, definitely Carousel for sure.
Pluto's got to be like honestly one of my favorites. Like, how did you come up with
Fucking
the
Zulu.
idea? How did you come up with the idea of Pluto? Because like that was fucking sick.
Pluto, to be honest, was one of the few songs that it wasn't a written melody. So I never like valued the song very highly to myself. It was kind of like, I guess in my mind, I look at it like Brinny did kick basing kind of songs where he'd put a melody over it and put a kick back. That was kind of what Pluto was. It was
Right.
it was a melody written in a sample pack, so I didn't write that melody. I wrote 99% of my melody, but that's not a melody I wrote, to be perfectly honest.
Wow.
That's actually I didn't know.
Yeah,
That's
So it was part of a pack. So I did it once, and I never did it. I don't think I did it earlier, but I definitely never did it after that. But that melody, I did write that melody.
That's crazy. I did that with Jungle Gym packs. I made a bass line and went, that sounds good.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Let's get away. Sorry, go, Jimmy.
Sorry?
I was just going to say,
you're-
Caleb's dipping out quickly. He just said, gotta head out, boys. The lady boys are calling my name. Miss you, Jimmy. I'll text you when I'm back in Melbourne.
I love you, mate. Love you.
Lady Boys and Meth.
Yeah, lady boys and meth, bro. Enjoy Indonesia.
new DJ name, Lady Boys on Meth.
Definitely did that early on, where there were some songs that I ripped bass lines from that I definitely, looking back retrospectively, I shouldn't have done that. In my mind, I mean, I did it maybe twice, I reckon. In my mind, it was, and in the end, I'd make even my kicks. So in the end, I made everything. But I guess early on, I saw it the same as, say, taking a kick sample, which I think, a lot of people just use kick samples. Why not? A kick's a kick. But in the end, I was making it myself, but I'd use a bass sample in my mind as well. It's the same length of a kick. It's just the same as doing it as a kick, which it wasn't. It was another thing. It was certainly something that I regret doing on a couple of songs. But yeah, looking back, retrospectively now that, I mean, in the end, I was making literally the kicks myself as well, but no. So yeah, Pluto was one. Pluto was one where it's sample pack melody.
No, nice.
That's actually, it's interesting that, it kind of breaks my heart, but that's okay. All right.
Well, let's get away from the sample packs and samples.
All right.
Let's talk production for a bit.
Yeah,
Yes.
Sure.
Vanessa just hit us with a question, and then Ozzy wants to do production stuff. But we have this thing in chat where if they watch for long enough, they accumulate points. They can interrupt us with a question. Vanessa said, "What are some memorable experiences as a DJ?" You would surely have a few.
Crazy ones being flown to Korea to play, and the whole time it was with these local Korean guys just trying to act like I deserved to be there, and just feeling like it was the furthest thing else from the truth. Being like, what is going on? What is going on here? So I played Korea. Actually, talking about Sparks, I played Korea at the same night that Will Sparks was playing in Korea. So we actually hung out. He was playing some massive pub. We actually hung out on the trip, but that was crazy. Playing in Korea was nuts, absolutely nuts. Apart from that, yeah, specific stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, the stuff that comes to mind is me doing silly shit and getting caught for it. Is the first thing that comes to mind. Apart from Korea being an amazing experience, like trying to play it, going into I can't remember the name of the underage, but going into an underage party and trying to smuggle in booze, and getting caught. Obviously, you can't bring booze into an underage. Obviously, you can't. So they checked my bags. They were searching people's bags, and they found booze in there. Like, what are you doing, mate? You're one of the headliners here. What are you doing? And they ended up letting me play the gig, and then they're like, you're never playing again because you're not like, yeah, the licensing here is obviously zero booze for an underage. So I guess the regrettable stuff is some of the first stuff that comes to mind. But, yeah, and that I remember it as well because that was a fucking crazy gig at Chase's, and these kids went berserk, absolutely berserk. I think in their mind, they watch festival videos and whatever, and that's how they replicate it. And
Yeah.
Rolling like a wave, all these kids, like so many of them, and it was one of the best vibe gigs I played. And I never played again because I tried to smuggle like a 6-pack in like a refill.
It's actually a very common thing that most of our guests have said, that underages have the best vibes. Like,
Yeah.
I think, yeah, you're the one to actually make me believe. Holy shit, fucking, what's going on with the adult club world? Oh my god, what are we doing wrong? What are we doing wrong?
Well, I think they just
old.
they're replicating what they see at festivals and whatnot. So I reckon it was great, but I think to a certain degree they play acting.
Yeah,
Or they're all
it's
fucking
acting.
drunk. You can't be you know.
They're the street kids that we fucking trying to bash your friends with hammers.
Or machete.
Yeah.
Or machetes.
These days, yeah.
Yeah, these days.
The production stuff though, I think that's a perfect one to lead into, bro. Like, with what you did with the bounce sound, you really didn't stick to a fucking perfect, 4/4 beat. What was the influence on making it that little bit, I guess, weird is a good way to put it? Because, the bass lines were a bit skew-if and rah-rah.
Yeah. I think I'm just I'm a weird person. I just wanted to make music as creative as I possibly could, especially because a lot of the stuff I did here coming out was very similar. A lot of it was still good, but it was really following the same kind of method and the same structure. And I felt that was certainly one of the reasons that it died, was the oversaturation of stuff that was pretty similar.
Yeah.
So I was always conscious of that. I was always conscious of making a song, and I'd go back through old songs when I was in the process of making a new one, being like, I would try and change the intros. The intros weren't the same. Like, who cares about an intro? But that was always on my mind as well. Being like, the intro needs to be different. I need to be doing something a little quirkier here, because I was very conscious of like the bounce scene, the underground Melbourne scene becoming stale. And plus, maybe that was maybe the production, especially early on, my production early on wasn't as good as the other lads. I think in the end it became up there, whatever. But I think the creative side of things never was like struggle for me, because it would just be me. It was a very like introspective experience to make music for me. That's why I really struggled doing collaborations. It's because like my mind went into a really like introverted place, and I would just sit and just put sounds together for hours and hours and hours. And I really, when I do collaborations, I'd struggle to even like communicate with the person you're making the song with, and it put me in such a like, analytical mind, whatever. Where once I'd finished a session doing it for like 8 hours straight, whatever, and I'd go out, when I was living with Caleb, whatever, I'd go out, and I really struggled literally speaking with people. It was a bizarre experience because it just unlocked like a different side of my mind, where I could just let all of my craziness into the song I was making. So I think it's probably was weirder than I would have made literally myself, because I was conscious of trying to keep the sound as fresh as it possibly can be, and not getting stale.
Well, you had that raw, unique sound.
Yeah,
Very creative.
It never started out like that. I was copying a lot of elements in my mind from Sparks, but I think you do it long enough that even if you're not intentionally making your own sound, it just became that, and that's what it did. It just became that completely unintentionally. I don't know at what stage that happened, but in my mind, especially early on, I was just mimicking guys that I really liked their music. I was just mimicking.
There's a lot of producers in the chat. I'm sure they would want to know what your top 3, say, sound design plugins are.
It's been I haven't properly made music for a number of years, so these might be obsolete. Isotope Ozone, I used a heap.
Still to this day, everyone uses it.
Yep.
Yeah. I'd honestly have to go back through to specifically remember. Yeah, the names. It's been a while. I apologize, but
Surely you Serum, Silent.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Do you remember?
Silent one, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, VST plugins, yes, definitely Silent. I mean, to make, I was saying before I made my kicks, I think the plugin was literally called Kick, and it's a
Kick by Sonic Academy, I think.
Right. Love, and I made bass lines with Kick as well. But it's an amazing plugin.
It is.
Yeah.
Do you remember if there's any niche or gate-kept plugins or VSTs that weren't widely used that you used religiously? Do you remember if there was any at all?
No. I mean, I don't think at the time people were using Kick heaps that I knew about. But apart from that, no, I was pretty much using what I was chatting to other lads who were using as well.
Yep.
There is one that comes to mind that I did make bass lines on, and I can't remember the name of the synth. I did make my carousel bass line with it. For the life of me, I don't be able to dig back through and find it, but yeah. So some bass lines I did make with a VST that I don't think I'd heard anybody else using. But so it's useless if I can't remember the name.
It's not Anna, it's not A&A, is it?
There's one that's called Surge that was used back in the day, for bass lines, and it was like really, really deep sub. I don't know if that's the one you're talking about.
No,
it's because that one's a very slept on plugin for basses.
Yeah. No,
a lot of gatekeeping with plugins these days too.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
There's a lot.
Yeah, I think I did
share their tips and tricks.
Yeah.
They're all talking about Nexus in the chat.
Concy said Nexus. I forgot about one. Nexus 1 and Nexus 2.
For sure.
Nexus is.
They had some good vocals in there too.
Yeah.
What are some advice? What is some advice? I think is what you're trying to say there, Vanessa. What is some advice you would give to someone starting out or looking into the scene from the outside?
DJing or producing?
As a whole, just artist in general.
Yeah, as a whole.
Yeah, just in general.
Yeah.
Don't do what I did and lock yourself away. Hassle people. Yeah. If you're looking, seriously hassle people. Because I remember running 6, the guys that you did put on, I mean, it really feels like you're hassling people. Especially if you're running an event, it makes you think that this person's really keen, and it might come across as rude, they're hassling you, whatever. They're super fucking keen. Hassle people, ask for advice, just socialize, which was always something I struggled in, and it was always something that set me back years, literally years, is because I just couldn't do that. Which is why connecting with Danny Grant was everything that I couldn't do, and that was when things exploded, because he could actually promote me when I couldn't promote myself. But yeah, unless you sign with an agency, you just socialize, get out there. If it's in regards to producing, I mean, I studied at JMC for a little while. I think there's probably more specific courses, at SAE maybe, that you can study, but honestly, you can get all the information you need to be a producer just from videos online. And I'm sure that's even more the case now. YouTube videos, mate. You can get everything you need to know from these videos and just study them and copy them, download the same things that they're using, and just make music and put it up there. But have to people. If you're trying to DJ a place, it has to be. Yeah. Because it works. Get your foot in the door.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. Get your foot in the door. I mean, where I first started DJing was a place called Code Red. It was at Platform 1. Yeah. It lasted a fair while. I played there early on, and I guess, I don't know, what kept me on for so many weeks was like thinking outside the box, where just to get your name out there. I think the first or second time I played, I think it was the first time I played, you obviously bring all your mates there, and one of my mates, he suggested the idea, just wearing t-shirts and literally doing those iron-on, like blank white t-shirts and iron-on like a Jungle Gym logo, and just have my face on it with like Jungle Gym on there, being like, mate, if we get like 20 people to wear this, they're never gonna fucking forget that. And that was like a little thing that, to get remembered, especially at a place that I really wanted to play, the guys running the night, they're gonna see that and go, fuck, is this Jungle Gym guy with 20 people all wearing a Jungle Gym top? Like, that's going to make you stand out. So I think that was one thing I did.
You did stand out. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Like, you remember the 6 verses and you wore a fucking silk satin robe?
Yeah, stuff like that. Just try and stand out any way you can, because
actually, that's a good point. You did wear a fucking kimono in basement with no shirt on and
I think I've got a photo. There's a sick photo somewhere. You DJing, you got a silk shirt on, fucking chest out.
Yeah.
I think that was the theme. I can't remember what the theme was, but I think that was theme related rather than me just being a weirdo.
Conte said that's how I
think
figured.
that was the night we had the international artist.
Yeah.
I think that was the night we had the international artist at 6.
Yeah.
Conte's just said that's how he noticed who you were. It's because you were dressed like that. That's funny as.
Anyway, give some advice.
I mean, that's from... You've been out of it how long now? Like, properly?
Years and years and years. I reckon seriously...
2017-ish?
Yeah, 2017. I don't think it was that. Like, I think I was still playing... It's been maybe 5-6 years, I reckon, at least.
I'm a terrible fucking podcast host. I didn't even look that information up, but I probably should have seen when your post was, because you hung up the headphones. You hung up the headphones in a very spectacular fashion, I guess you'd say, with what you said in your "I'm done with the industry, I'm fucking this, and this," and you were hanging up the headphones. It caused a stir. Like, that was the first in my, because I got into the scene 2015. So like in my tenure of being in the music industry, watching you leave was the first like big DJ retirement that I ever came across, and people went fucking ballistic because they were like, if we've lost Jungle Gym, then there's no point in us still going. And I was like, what's everyone talking about? Like, he's just the DJ.
I was gutted.
But after now being in it 10-ish years, I've seen the impact you've had and continue to have had since you've been off. What do you think that? What do you think people connected with the most in your music? Because it had to have been something.
I think maybe with like me as an artist in general. I mean, the music, maybe because it was unique, but I think as an artist, probably because I didn't really suit like a DJ personality. I think I was shy. I think I didn't really kiss people's asses when I probably should have. I burned a lot of bridges. I burnt bridges on people that had a lot of influence.
Yeah.
And maybe at some level that was me like burning things down for myself because I felt like I didn't deserve it. I think that definitely played a part. But I think that definitely helped me stand out. And maybe people found something unique in that. As far as the music specifically itself, like I said, yeah, man, I wouldn't have a clue. Because I felt like I was mimicking other artists in a lot of ways, at least early on. So as far as specifically the music, yeah, because it was as unique as it could have been, yeah, as well, I guess.
No, I think that's what I would say. Yeah, definitely, it would be how unique your shit is for sure.
Do you mix and master your own stuff, or do you go to an engineer?
I went to a mastering engineer for a couple of songs. None of the songs with Jimmy Trumpet. This mastering was something that I never really got. It seemed like the purpose largely was to kind of compress the song as much as you could, to make it as loud as you could. So to me, a lot of what was done during mastering should have been done during the mixing process in a far more like surgical way. You have so much more control specifically over areas of the frequency spectrum that like to me, mastering was kind of you finish the song and then somebody else is going to finish the song again for me. It never made sense really to me. So I kind of mixed and then half like mastered my own songs while I was still mixing it. But I did get
in the ballpark, yeah.
a couple of songs professionally mastered. One of them was Jimmy Trumpet, and I really regretted doing that because to me, it makes sense if you're mastering. And this might be ridiculous, but it makes sense to me mastering something like a pop song where you just want it as loud as it possibly can be, super compressed. Obviously, you're bringing out certain elements here, whatever. To me, club music specifically, especially because it's so drop driven, it's all about the drop. It's all about the heavy bass line when the drop hits, and the build up is all generally mid high range. So in my opinion, if you super compress a whole lot of that, if you listen at specific points along the track, you go, oh shit, the one that's been mastered, you go, oh shit, that's louder, that's so much better, whatever. But if you listen to the song like holistically from start to finish, I think it sucks the life out of the drops a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Especially if you're listening to the song not in a club environment, you're listening to it at home because purely the volume that you listen to a song will unbalance the frequency spectrum. Which is one thing I learned at JMC, which is great advice. So unless it's specifically in a club environment where you're listening to the song on good speakers and at a volume level that it doesn't unbalance the song in the same way as if you're listening to it anywhere else. I think that if you do get it mastered afterwards, a lot of the songs that I heard, if you listen to the song in its entirety, it sucked a lot of the life out of the drops. Especially with club music, like it made sense to me. Mastering it if you're making pop music, whatever, where you just want all of it to be as loud as it possibly can. But I always consciously made my build-ups not compressed the life out of them, so the drops would have more impact. Because I think it was super worthwhile using dynamics in a song. Where I think if you just got it mastered, especially because a lot of the guys that I dealt with, the mastering engineers, know that the majority of people just want to hear their song being louder, rather than like keeping the dynamics of a song and actually having like a to and fro and the drop still having the same impact. So I mixed all my own stuff and mastered it as well in the end. And to me, I would listen to other guys, in the same whatever echelon, and it would sound pretty close, just generally like dynamic wise, and I wasn't compressing the life out of it. So to me, that was worthwhile because I felt like the whole song benefited more than getting it mastered.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
And that helped you through JMC as well. You were saying?
Yeah, definitely.
How did you go with JMC? Was like obviously you had the live sound, you had the science of sound, you had the music theory, you had the production side of things. What did you actually go to JMC for?
Audio engineering. And I think it was interesting. I did it very early on, and then when DJing started getting really hectic, when I was playing away on weekends, it just wasn't feasible. in the end. But I think a lot of it was live recording, microphone placement that didn't really. A lot of it wasn't really concerned with typically what I wanted to do. So there was a few really good nuggets that I did learn, but 80% of it wasn't really the direction I wanted to go.
And then the production side of things was in Pro Tools as well. That made it hard.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, there's probably, I guess, SAE do more specific stuff for electronic music. And like I said, mate, I should have saved the money because I left.
I'm still in debt.
I owed a shitload of money, and I probably could have learned a lot of it just from watching YouTube. So,
yeah. I feel like it was a little bit of a waste on the whole trimester degree type thing, but it helps in a certain way.
Definitely. Yeah.
We got one more coming through from the chat. Chris A is a fucking killer lately. He's been doing a lot of minimal stuff, which is fucking needed.
Great
minimal
producer.
music in the scene. Great producer. He's hit with, what's some best advice you've ever gotten in the industry from someone else, from one of your mentors?
Yeah.
What's something that someone's told you that's either really stuck with you or really helped?
I reckon something early on that comes to mind. I'm sure there'd be a bunch of stuff. But yeah, seeing that you have Juro on, he actually gave me some advice very early on, which was like a little nugget and maybe not a huge bit of advice, but it definitely stuck with me. When I think it was an Eminem remix very early on that I put out, and he commented on it because I think he was younger than me, but he started producing very young compared to me. I think he was in his teens when he was producing early on. But yeah, he gave me a piece of advice where I was using VSTs and I just used the preset. And in my mind, especially when I was making music back then, to me a VST was just an instrument, and you'd use the presets. And there was no way I could make the preset better than it was. It was just an instrument that now I'd write a melody with. But yeah, so I wrote a melody, and I think he gave me some advice saying melody's fine, whatever, but don't just use the presets. Like actually go in and edit and try and create the sound yourself. And in my mind, very early on, I just thought it was like a band, like a guitar. You have the guitar, that's the sound you make. Yeah, within those parameters of what a guitar is, you're going to make a melody with it. And you can build a song from there, which is not the case at all. When you're making electronic music, you can make like the very building blocks of sound itself. You can put square wave, you can start with a square wave, you can start with a sine wave, whatever, and you can make any sound you could possibly imagine. You can edit everything, the envelope, anything that is going to change it. And I think that really was a great piece of advice. It's like, mate, don't just use the preset. You can edit the sound yourself, make it uniquely yours, and then go from there. But I think at the time there was no way I was going to be creating my own sound like that. But that was great advice, and in the end, that was exactly what I was doing.
Yeah, back then there was no wrong or right way to do it either.
Yeah.
We spoke about that with, maybe it would have been Juro or one of
It would have been
Juro or Zach, but we spoke about one of the old school artists, and we said basically back in those days it was a race to have the cleanest sound because everyone's music was shit. It was just a race to have a good sounding song.
Yeah.
Because everyone was on the path of, no one was compressing or mixing or anything. They were just putting the song together with samples and putting it out there because it sounded cool. And then they started building on it.
This is also a good question. So this is actually going off from the Juro episode, because I actually remember this question, how we ended up on it to begin with. What was the song that made you go, nothing is going to be better than this?
As in song I heard in the scene?
Yeah. So Melbourne bounce song that you were like, all right, that's it. Nothing can be better than this.
Yeah.
This is the cleanest sound.
It's probably cliche, but yeah, for sure. When I heard that song, that was it. That was exactly what I felt the sound should be. That was a fantastic song. That was it.
That's a great fucking answer. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's also the same era where it was just like, this is, now people are going to start experimenting with it because what we were aiming for, we've hit it. But around the period, we already had Jump and Nightcrawler was young and all of those. It was like, it's not going to get much better than this. Aussie has a cool new segment that you're actually going to be our fucking test dummy for. So,
all right,
hand it off.
Let's see how this goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, this one's called the hot seat. So basically, you've got a whole heap of questions. You've got as long as you can answer them, and then we're gonna basically write your results down. The first person to get all of them right, I don't know, there might be a little competition through the 128 Club or whatever, and then we'll announce it through Insta. Right. So whenever you're ready, Jimmy, I'm just gonna hit you with a whole heap of questions, and you just do your best.
Answer it as quick as you can.
Someone put a timer
on. Ready? 3, 2,
Yeah.
1, go.
What's your favourite venue? Tramp. Favourite producer?
I'd have to say Sparks. Will Sparks.
Favourite Melbourne artist?
Yes, Sparks. Sparks for sure.
Vinyl or USB?
USB.
Late night or morning set?
Late night.
One track you'd play forever?
Of my own?
Anything of your own? Anyone else?
The first thing that comes to mind, Madan, Martin Solveig remix. That was early on. Yeah.
Best crowd you've played to?
Right.
Festival or club?
Club.
Minimal, bounce or house?
Bounce.
Done.
A minute exactly.
Oh.
1:77. That's crazy. A minute exactly. A minute .77. Wow.
Nice.
That's cool, bro. I really like that. And once we get we're going to go back through once we do all our episode 2s of all the people who've been on. That's something we want to get everyone involved in. Brother, we hit our hour fucking 20 minutes ago. But I want to, I mean, you said multiple times, especially in the Jono podcast, you said, you never really cared about what you said in the public eye or said on social medias because making music is something that no one can ever take away from you. And I think that's a really powerful statement in the fact that you were kind of a face of doing what you want and doing what you love don't have to sort of tarnish each other. You were able to say what you want and still have a fruitful career. Do you credit all that to like your talent or the quote unquote fans? Has it been like something that you've strived for, being that big name DJ, or is it just an accidental fucking, I guess, blessing, really?
Completely accidental. I guess that was the reason why, I released like 80% of my tracks for free. I never really valued my production ever. So I guess that helped me not taking myself too seriously, but never in a million years did I think that's my goal that I thought was like the pinnacle was hearing another DJ play my song in a club, like a DJ that I didn't know. That was going to be it. That was all I ever wanted. So there was never any intention to make it a career or for it to pay my bills for any period of time, ever. Which is why it probably, again, maybe that is part of the reason why my music stood out, is because it was just, and Caleb's called my music meme music, which it pretty much was. It was like cooked little snippets I put in my songs, shit that I found funny, that I thought would stand out and that interested me. There was no like calculating how profitable it's gonna, I'm gonna be able to sell the song for, direction that's gonna make me money. It never in a million years. Yeah, it was like hearing a DJ play my song in a club was the pinnacle for me. So it was just like blundering my way along after that, being like, I guess I've got to go here. Because when you get to the goals, it satiates you for a short period of time and then it doesn't. And you got to keep heading for more. So I think that happened again and again, where I'd do something, I'd play at gigs and be like, I don't deserve to play, I don't know what's going on. You're like, well, what's next? So I've got, reached whatever, 1,000 plays on this song. That's the pinnacle I ever thought I was going to get. So I got to get to 10,000 and then 100,000 and then, a million plays on a song, whatever. And all of it just being feeling like I deserve to another.
What was the biggest? All right, this is. I don't know if we're going to continue or not, but this is the final question from
Last
me.
one. Yeah.
Last one from me. What was the biggest DJ who played out your song? Like that you remember? Like the biggest DJ, the biggest name.
I reckon Joel
Sparky played a
Fletcher.
few.
Yeah,
I don't think Spikes ever played my tunes, but yeah, Joel Fletcher definitely did. But yeah, the time that I heard really early on that I heard a DJ play my song, I don't even know who the DJ was, but it was in La Di Da that he played it, and I lost my mind. I lost my mind when I heard it. So
Do you know what year that was?
that would have been 2012 maybe, something like that.
2012. Yeah, right.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's like early days.
something like that. Yeah.
Well, I'll go last one from the chat, and then we can fucking wrap up if you want, and save all the rest of the questions for a second episode further down the track. Get you to come back.
When he's producing and DJing again.
Yeah, when we can promote his next set. Yeah. Chris A's hit you with the last one. What do you admire about creating music or DJing that every other creative outlet doesn't have?
Every other creative outlet doesn't have. I mean, with DJing, early on, I didn't understand it and didn't respect it as much as I did in the end, for sure. Seeing guys like Callus play, seeing what he did on the decks, man, absolutely blew my mind. I'm like, okay, this is an art form for sure. This is something where you can truly be creative on the fly with a live element to it. Mm-hmm. And actually benefits the song and benefits the vibe. But as far as I guess creatively that's different than other areas. It would be the fact that you can literally make. You're starting with the building blocks of sound itself. So that level of creativity, I think it's hard to match anywhere else because it can go literally anywhere you want it to. So I think that definitely stands out, like the truly creative, the truly patient, because when you're making a song, you're listening to the same bit over and over and over again, and it can make you crazy. It can absolutely send you nuts. So I think that level of patience, I think, to produce a good quality music and truly creative music when you can do anything you could possibly imagine. All the only issue is your creativity itself. I think that probably stands out, production-wise. DJing. I guess, like I said, watching somebody like Callus on the fly, creating something that is truly unique that you're never going to hear again unless the set's recorded, I think is something that probably stands out with DJing as well.
Chris stole my headphones. It'll still be the highlight of my career. It's the coolest thing that's ever happened to me in my DJing career. He DJ'd just before me, and when he left, he put my headphones in his bag and just walked out. I love that dude.
I see him periodically. He does gardening as well, landscaping gardening. I see him. I'm like, oh shit. And we go up and speak to each other. I've seen him maybe 3 times in the last couple of years. He works in the same kind of area.
That's crazy.
Man of very few words, but he's been the one to come up to me because he sees me first. Like, oh shit. And he'll say a sentence, and in my mind I'm like, dude, how you been? How's the fam? What's going on, dude? And he'll just be like, I'll see you later, mate. So it's just like hello and then goodbye.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's good to see you.
Yeah, he's
I see him. I've seen him multiple times. It's crazy.
Yeah, I literally was Chris. Yeah. No, it was he's such a humble and quiet person that when you speak to him, he's really he's straight to the point, and he's happy to be there and happy to play tunes, but he's also happy to go home. He's a quiet dude.
Yeah.
I'll be honest though, I was watching him at Freaks, bro. Like, oh my god, he's an absolute machine, bro. Like the way he mixes, the way he just fucking jams acapellas over things and just does all the magic. It's just fucking insane.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen anything like it.
Well, I mean, shit, dude. It's fucking. We say it with every guest, but we could do this for 10 hours. We could talk about music literally forever. Is there any hope that the children will see you on stage one day again, or are the headphones too caked in dust now?
I want to start making music again at some stage. I want to run an event periodically, kind of a nostalgic event that I'll make music and only play at the event. So I don't want to release it at all. You'd have to come to the event specifically to listen to the music. I definitely want to do that. That'd be in the works. Periodically do that for sure. And just get nostalgic, just reminisce, have all the lads back again. Mate, I've got to do it.
With the way that the scene has been for the last 6 months, if you did that anywhere in the next 18 months, I think that would smack. Literally, people would freak to see that happen.
Yeah, I want to do it. I want to do it the way I always thought the scene should have stayed. I think it did get oversaturated, whatever. I want to do it at a smallish venue, not even if it sells out straight away, keep it to a small venue, like a little club with a good system, playing that style of music that I thought was always suited for a club, not a festival, not big venues.
It's really it's really been locked down by the Pilots Lounge boys, but I think the Crystal Room, the backer chasers, what the Pilots Lounge boys have been able to do with that 250 people room and allegedly putting 300 in there, it's such a vibe, dude. The sound system is perfect. Crowd was screaming, couldn't breathe. Like it was wild days again, and it was last weekend. Like if you could make that happen, bro, you'd be very surprised with how the community would take that. I think people would sell that out very fucking quickly.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah.
What Sober's saying, come back to Wangaratta. They want you up in the sticks. What would it... We'll end on, what would it take? Hypothetically, what would it take for you to be like, fuck it, do another 12-month run?
I couldn't, mate. All my time is taken up by running the business, and then my family. I couldn't, mate.
Yeah.
It's got to be rare. It's got to be rare, few and far between. I couldn't.
Because I'm the same now. I've been doing events for like 4 years, and with everything the way it's been going, I said to the boys in the last 2 days, I'm like, fuck it, throw me back in the circuit. Just see what happens for 6 months. Get me 2-3 sets a week. I've messaged the 5 or 6 people that I know that can organize sets. I'm like, fuck it, let's see what happens. I got that itch again. It's just starting to build.
I know the feeling, mate. My wife would murder me. Oh my God. Yeah. No, but speaking of
it's hard with the kids.
Yeah. Speaking of Wangaratta, the country gigs were always the best. They were always the best. Absolutely. They got the loosest. It would be like even small country towns. They would lose their, and they were always the most fucked up. They loved it. You could always play the filthiest shit when you were playing in the country. It was great.
1,000%. Yeah, that's still nothing's changed, bro. I live a good couple of hours out of Melbourne, and the local around here is very rural, country, small town when it's actually a massive town, but it's exactly the same, bro. The people are only good at the crowd's only good there because they're feral. They just go off to anything. They don't care.
Yeah.
What Sober just said, do you remember the water leak on the dance floor in Wangaratta?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. We sparked back some nostalgia. There we go.
Shit like that you could never do in the city.
We're just pouring water on the floor.
Are you able to elaborate on that story? Because I'm actually really interested in hearing that little rabbit hole.
I remember it flooding. Stopped the venue for ages, but the whole place fucking flooded. So it's vague memory now, but I remember it. Yeah, just being nuts, literally flooding the whole place. But
we showered on the slut boxes. Nice.
Oh, fucking hell. Memories, huh? That's what I mean, bro. We could go down the fucking rabbit hole. You played a million gigs. We could go down this for hours talking about small little niche memories that only 5 of us will understand. But look, it's been a pleasure to have you at least sit down and go through the stories that you have so far. Like I said, we should save more for another hour and a half episode further down the track, so people can,
For sure,
can
man.
stay involved. But yeah, dude, is there anything you want to plug? Anyone out there you want to thank while we got a interview in 2026 from you?
No, thank you, lads, for having me. I think, yeah, with the vibe that it's been since the orchestrated event, I think people kind of want it to come back again. I think that would be a mistake. I think it needs to be, if it does come back, it needs to be something different and new. It needs to be organic. Trying to force what happened previously is not organic, and it's never going to work because there's no groundswell from kids. It's all oldies doing it. So we can do nights here and there, reminisce, have side rooms, perfect. But for it to be what it was, I think it would be a mistake, and it won't work. And I think it would kind of tarnish what it was. I think it's good. I think it's good to have the memories and reminisce about those. That would be what I'd say about the scene. So
You
be
exactly
nostalgic.
you exactly described everything we've been building for the last 16 weeks, brother. That's a perfect way to put it. Yeah, 100% preach that.
Yeah.
Not weekly, once a month or something, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just not the place for weeklies anymore. And I think starting afresh, starting a new nostalgia-driven scene is way better than trying to respark 2015 again. Yeah, you fucking nailed it, bro.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, with the other genres now, it's too much competition.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, said it 4 times, but it's a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for sparing your Wednesday night and giving us a fucking conversation, bro. It's always good to hear from...
Been a long time coming.
Yeah, from
No
someone...
worries.
Yeah.
I'm a tired
Bring
man,
Jimmy
but
back.
I'm hugely coherent. Oh, yeah. Yeah, thank you, lads.
Absolutely. So thank you for everyone for hanging out. If you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, all that cute shit, and we'll see you next week, same time. Much love. Peace.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Jimmy.
Glad to see you.